And welcome to another edition of the GetGrowing Weekly Work Session with GetOiling. I'm Coach Ashley. Today we are joined by founders Greg and Amanda Kilwine. Hey guys.
Hello, everybody.
We also have Jessica, Julie, and Colin from our team. Hi, and Grace is here today. Hello. Good morning. We are so excited to have you here with us wherever you are in the world. Let us know in the comments in the chat where you're tuning in from. We're excited to talk with you today about this topic that I think is pretty close to home for everyone who has been a Young Living brand partner for any amount of time. So let's hear it. See where you're coming in from. We are excited to meet you and chat with you. If you're brand new, welcome. We do this every single week. This is a live free call for anyone who is a Young Living brand partner, no matter your rank. Of course, we at GetOiling offer an incredible suite of software for you to manage, run, and grow your business, but you don't have to be a customer of ours to benefit from what we will be sharing with you on this call and on future calls. If you'd like to join us on a future call, it is getoiling.com/weekly work session to join one of these live calls. Hello. All right. Lowville, New York, Michigan, UK, Oklahoma City, Philly. More. We got like a couple. Are y'all friends? Oklahoma City. We got a couple of y'all OKCs here. Jersey, PA, South Carolina. Excellent. And we here on the call are in Canada, BC, Canada, Florida, North Dakota, and New York. So welcome. We're very, very pleased to be here with you and to share this time with you on this Thursday. So I'm going to share some slides with us. We're still coming in with the where are we from? We've got Texas and Connecticut. Excellent. We're going to turn our videos off for the good of the recording. We'll get into some slides. We have 2 live work reviews today. We're going to go over some work that you guys have been doing. And then of course, we will take your Q&A. So let's get to it, you guys. All right. And we do have some updates as well in our system that we're really excited to share with you. And that's something that you're going to get at the close of what we are going to be sharing just as soon as I can get this thing to open up. All right, there we go. Perfect. All right, today we're going to talk about putting our educational content to work for your business. And first, let's just kind of do some housekeeping here. We're going to talk about how to, I did not update the slide from last week. Sorry, you guys, it's not what we're doing. We are not doing those. Let me get to this real quick. We are first going to go over any questions that you have. Definitely put those in the Q&A now. Today, we're going to be talking about content you already have, right? So not creating content, but we're going to be talking about how you can put the content you've already purchased or created or sourced to use. So get on this list so that you can join us on one of these live calls at getoiling.com/weekly work session. And if you want live help on this call or one in the future, again, definitely get in the Q&A. But if you would like to secure time for a future call to maybe review all of that hard work you've been putting into creating your website or your vaults, or really just learning how to use this system, especially if you've just gotten started, head over to getoiling.com/website review to sign up for a space on a future call. All right, so let me ask you guys a fun question here. I'm really excited to see your answer in the chat. If all of your oily and wellness focused educational resources were a physical thing, right? If each of them were like a little box and you could fit them into one room, how big would that room be? Or I don't know, for some of us, like, would it be a whole house? How big is the house? Think about all of like, just take a second, right? Jean says very large. So think for a second. We've got graphics, we've got downloadables, sways, videos, links, information, books. Some of us have got this stuff in books. All right, so we got a spectrum here from closet size, which that's super manageable, all the way up to overwhelmingly huge, 10 by 10 with room to expand. Cool. So the fact is, right, with oily and wellness-based content, for those of us who are really in this, and I think I'm going to speak on all of our behalfs here, this is an ever-growing body of information, isn't it? Right. And I'm not just talking about the stuff that we get on a monthly basis to make sure that our customers know what they need to, what they want to make sure that they purchase, to fit with the season or to hit this month's PV promos. we are really committed here, right, to understanding as much as possible about our own wellness so that we can go and make a greater difference in the lives of others. Isn't that true? Can I see a show of hands? Isn't that like part of the reason why you do what you do? You're better off today because you learned something via your connection to Young Living, right? And so we're always learning these things, and these things that we learn, we obviously, we put these things to use for our own lives, but how effectively do we put these things to use to actually get other people woken up to this information, right? It's kind of overwhelming when you think about it, because when you think about all of the things that you've read that have informed you, the things that you've watched, that you've been given, that you've purchased, that have informed you toward who you are and where you are today in your wellness journey and where you are with Young Living, it really is a lot of information. And every step of that way, there is information that you can be using in a smart way to get more people excited and to get more people started. And actually committed to using product like you are. So here's what we'll actually cover if we'll disregard my very first slide of this presentation. So we're going to talk about our content types. So what do these things look like that I'm, equating to little boxes that you can put into a closet or fill a whole house up with? When to use those things. And then really importantly, how you can plug each kind of content into your GetOiling system. All right, so our primary content categories, let's talk about the types of content. And we are going to go over these in some amount of detail, including at the very end, we're going to show you an exciting update to our platform, as well as something that you may or may not already know how to do. All right, so our primary content categories are text, right? This is literally the stuff that you read in books, that you pull off of websites, that you write yourself. This is copy and paste information. It's literal copywriting from your own website or things that you've already written. It's stuff that somebody else wrote that you have permission to share or that you can paraphrase, notes that you've created, all that kind of stuff. We all start with this, don't we? Graphics, that's another. A lot of us have graphics, or we've certainly seen a lot of Young Living centric graphics. Videos are another powerful resource that we should all be using. And I think that most of us are probably underutilizing, especially given how much Young Living educational content is out there for public consumption. Sway presentations, that's another, and it's a super hot topic around here because a lot of us here use Sway presentations, or at least we've purchased access to a ton of really good ones from our friends at Grow Workspace, right? And so we need to know the right way to use those. Sway presentations in particular get tricky when you want to share them. I don't know how many of you have maybe tried to share a Sway via Messenger on Facebook, for instance, and maybe you've been blocked from sharing it, right? Maybe you've struggled to actually get it to someone. Then we're going to talk about ways that you can make sure you're using those sways to their greatest potential in your business today. And then we're going to talk about audio files and PDF files. So those would be like your, your downloads, your printables. A lot of you like to use PDFs for things like freebies for your funnels, like a lead magnet in your funnel, that kind of thing. Okay, so let's talk about use cases here real quick. When we're talking about content, and it's really important for you to know that the content, all of the things we're talking about here can be things that you have created yourself, but they can absolutely also be things that have been created by others that are for public consumption or that you have permission to use. But beyond that, we want to be thinking about why we would want to use or share these things. And so there are two primary sort of categories that we would put our content into. So all those different types, they have categories. Let's talk about those two. One is internal use, and that is for your customer and brand partner education and for promoting things to your customers and brand partners. And the other is external use, which is going to be for marketing. This is for generating curiosity to get leads and sharing Young Living with your leads, right? So there's inside your business. So people who have already said yes, who have purchased product, who are sharing product, that's internal, and then external. These are people who are outside the bubble. So think, and just a quick rule of thumb, anytime you have any kind of content that references Young Living internal language, PV, OGV, seed to seal. Seed to seal can be something that's in a presentation for leads, to be fair, but things that are really deep and heavy with very Young Living specific stuff, that's going to be more internal. Right? Things that are more general or that speak more to topics of interest that could also introduce Young Living are going to be fit for external use. Now, there are cases where maybe you've already introduced someone to Young Living. They're becoming aware of what Young Living is. Maybe you've shared with them already, or they've been to a class. You can use internal use content in some cases where maybe you're sharing, again, with somebody who's already become somewhat familiar with Young Living who hasn't said yes yet. Okay, so now we've got that. Let's break down these types of content and learn how to use them in your GetOiling system. I do want to make a note here real quick. This is not an exhaustive list. So there are definitely cases where you can take something that's written, turn it into an image and use it on social, right? I'm not going to go into every single type of way that you can be using content for all of its purposes, but I do want to show you how to use this stuff in your GetOiling system. All right, so let's talk about written text. Now, this is where most of us start. Maybe you've got emails from uplines or even from Young Living. You've seen a paragraph that you really loved on Young Living's blog. By the way, if you're ever kind of wondering about where you can find great oily content, go no further than corporate's own website. Young Living has so much incredible content that you can be using and repurposing for the purpose of promoting and educating in your business, internal and external. So written text is going to look like testimonials and quotes. We've all seen testimonials, right? And we've kind of wondered, okay, well, what do we do with them? So we're going to talk a little bit about what that can look like and where you can put these. Recipes, that's another example of written text that you can use in your GetOiling system. Links, this is another example of text. We can put links just about anywhere in your GetOiling system. Actually, come to think of it, I can't think of a single place, maybe Greg, correct me if I'm wrong, I can't think of a single place inside of our system where you can put something on your website and you can't also put a link there. Links and text go everywhere. And then you've got your notes, your quotes, presentation materials, things that you've compiled over time. I know last week we did a presentation on notes with our friends from Simple Grace Collective. Notes are literally just like if you were in a college course and you were taking notes, except you are gathering notes from all of these resources you're learning from. And then product information from Young Living's own page, from free sources like the Oily app that everybody's using right now that's got a free thing with product education, that kind of stuff. All right. So let's talk about where we can use these things in your GetOiling system. So first, where you've got email and text, you can put text, right? You can put text and links and email and text extensively. And what I want to encourage you to start doing, and where we're talking about putting your content to use so that it saves you a ton of time and you get more out of it. When you go to write an email or send a text, pause and ask yourself, is this something that I could use again? If the answer is yes, create a saved reply. Now, saved reply, and you can learn about this by clicking the little teal question mark in the bottom right of your screen when you're logged into GetOiling or you're on the app. And you can learn more about how to create saved replies. But it's basically just an email or a text that you have pre-written that you can use over and over and over again. And so inside of those, you can copy and paste and put things in there. You can put links in there. You can put text in there. You can also use your text, compile these things to create blog posts, right? You can take your testimonials and put those into blog posts. You can, of course, create pages. We talked a little bit last week in our talk about notes, that you can actually take all of the notes that you have, product information, links, and things like this, and put them into pages that you can use as presentation materials on your site. You can use these to shape and create and be inspired for new events you can host online or offline using your GetOiling system, and then online classes where you have something that can function as internal information. So stuff for people who are in your business, your customers and your brand partners. One of the best first places to go is to create an online class and create a vault that class lives in, so that you have a private, organized space for your people who are in your business to get all the stuff you know as you're compiling it over time, right? All right, so let me give you a quick tip here, you guys, for for your text. If you want to use text that you've gathered from elsewhere inside of your GetOiling system, we're going to use what's called the paste plain text feature. So all you have to do is go to any editor in our system. This could be a blog post, a page, a class, an event, an email, and you're going to go over here and look for this A with the 3 dots next to it. And then we're going to look for the clipboard. Okay, and we're going to copy and paste our text right there. And then when you click the second clipboard here, it's going to insert it, and it'll look just like the rest of the text that you have in that document, no matter what kind it is in the system, right? I don't know if you've ever tried to copy and paste from somewhere else into your GetOiling system. It tends to carry that formatting over, and it might look really weird. So if you want it to look nice and look like the rest of the document that you've got, then use this tip here. It'll save you a ton of time and headache. All right, now let's talk about graphics. We all have graphics, right? That's how a lot of us learned about Young Living, right? We got curious because people were sharing things that were either curiosity driving or informative. So graphics can take on a number of different forms. These can be recipes, right? If you've ever seen diffuser recipes, Young Living has these all over their website. You guys, you can use those to help you grow your business. You can use testimonial images, including screenshots. Right? If you ever see a great testimonial, you can take a screenshot of it. Of course, ask for permission to share if it includes the person's name, or be sure to blur out any personal details if, otherwise, if you're not in touch with that person. But that's a great example of a graphic you can use. Infographics. This is another one. Young Living puts these out, as well as Grow Workspace puts these out. Some of our other content partners do as well. I'm not recalling those in detail, but there's a lot of great infographics. And basically all an infographic is an image that has images on it, of course, but then it also has some amount of text that explains something. So it's information in a graphic. There's your portmanteau. All right, and then of course, there's promotional graphics. Again, this is what you probably see the most of, just on an ongoing basis, especially if you're getting content from our content partners. So that's going to be images of this month's PV promos, that kind of thing. Okay. And remember your internal and external use. I would not share PV promos with everyone you know. I would only share PV promos with those who are in the know. So people who are in your business, internal, or people who you have already shared Young Living with, who have been on the fence, if you believe that that's something that might help knock them off the fence. All right. Okay, so now let's talk about graphics, where we're going to use them. Email and text, just like I talked about copy and pasting text before. I can't think of a single place in our entire platform where you cannot utilize text, links, and images. Okay, so you can put these, just like I mentioned before, into email and text using campaigns. Ask yourself before you send that email or text, can I use this again? If the answer is yes, create a saved reply. Those saved replies can be used to build campaigns and then easily send messages out to whomever you want when you want to. You could also build multiple saved replies into a single email as well, if you want to plug and play different pieces of information, which is super useful. You can also use graphics in your blog posts. This is a very powerful thing to use. Most of us this day and age are highly distracted and distractible. If you can remember being a small child and wanting books with pictures, that's where the modern brain has devolved. Most of us really do need images to break up text on a page, so you can use graphics to your benefit on blog posts in that way. You can embed your images on pages as well. So think about the notes page we talked about last week, or if you wanted to, have a page that you use for your lead magnet, that kind of thing. You can use these graphics as well for events that you will be hosting on the platform. Maybe you're going to do an event that is all about nutmeg and what nutmeg essential oil can do and its endocrine actions and all that kind of good stuff. And then you could use one of these images that you already have from a previous month where nutmeg was part of a PV promo, and you can grab that infographic and put it in and use that as an event image, right? Right? Have you thought about doing that before? every single month you have a PV promo, and there's a ton of information that goes out with it. You could be teaching little mini classes, reusing those images, reusing the information that Young Living shares with you. You don't have to go and create all of it yourself. Create those events and start having classes that are focused around these things that you already have information for. All right. And then, of course, in your online classes, you can have online classes that are filled with graphics or infographics. You can also add graphics to the download section of your online classes, which is pretty cool. All right. So another quick tip here for you guys for your images. Suzanne. So you can use templates and swap images. So what I'm showing you right here, you can use it's a saved reply that's called, it's recipe template 1. So if you are in your email, or saved replies or on your blog, and you want to drop in formatting that's already preset for you for a recipe, then you can drop this right in. And so here's an example right here. And you can just click the image that you want to replace and then swap it out with one that you already have or one that's in your system, right? So any of those existing images that you have that you've gotten, maybe from one of our content partners or that you've created for another purpose, you can put that and its recipe information into a saved reply that you can drop into a blog post or a newsletter or an email at any point in the future. All right, let's talk about video content. Videos are going to look like, and this is not exhaustive, but it's pretty close. Videos can be recordings of oily classes that you have taught, attended, or that your team has held. Team calls specifically regarding brand partner matters, testimonials, video testimonials, unboxing. How many of us have done an unboxing video before? Right? It's a pretty popular thing to have, and it's a great thing to have on hand for your new folks, especially. Then we've got trainings. These can be trainings on actually oiling or trainings on the business. You have product or business presentations, recipes and how-to videos, product review videos, and then importantly, for your leads, curiosity generating videos. So things that aren't just promoting Young Living, but that are engaging people on topics that matter to them so that they get curious and want to talk with you. All right, so videos are a really powerful tool, you guys, for sharing and for education of the people who are in your business. But make sure that you're taking note of their internal or external use. And that is both for compliance sake, as well as just generally to make sure that the information that you're sharing with leads is something that's really important to them and not just something that's important to your business. Okay. All right. So we highly recommend that you put videos that you see fit for internal use inside a vault in GetOiling. All right. So what this means is, let's just say, for instance, that you have team testimonials. Maybe you guys talk about stuff that maybe isn't quite so kosher on social media. The place that this goes is inside your vault, right? Or maybe you're talking about something that just is a little too in the weeds with Young Living terminology to really be helpful to someone who's not in your business. That kind of thing goes inside of a vault. And guys, remember, we do have a complete free course that you can follow where we show you step by step exactly how to create an educational vault in GetOiling. And that is getoiling.com/move your groups, all one word. All right, so let's talk about where to use our videos in the system. If you want to send video content to someone, you can use email and text. However, this only works with a link, just a link, okay? We can't embed video into emails or text, link only. And so, of course, just like I've mentioned before, will this work for you again in the future? If the answer is yes, create a saved reply so that you can send this over and over again with ease. It takes you half the time or less. And then, of course, you can and absolutely should embed videos in your blog posts. You could also embed videos on pages where they can play on your own website, perhaps with a button beneath them that tells them to get in touch with you, right? And then of course, it's very easy. It's a matter of copy and paste. And we have a field for it inside of your online class setup where you can simply paste in a link to a video and it will play inside an online class in your vaults. So quick tip, if you really want to send video via email or text, use a screenshot. And actually, this is specifically for emails. This isn't going to work the same way for text. So if you want to send a video via email, it's the cool thing you can do. First, you want to make sure you grab a compelling screenshot on your device of the video that you want to share. So hit play and maybe turn the captions on. So, you know, if something that's being said at that moment is pretty interesting, that's in the frame and, you know, it looks kind of live. It looks like it's mid-play. I'll show you what this looks like in just a second. So grab that screenshot and grab the link to that video and then head over to your GetOiling system and create a saved reply to craft that message. And then we're going to go over here. We're going to click insert, which is this little image right here, icon. And then we're going to upload that screenshot from our device. Okay, so this one is actually from Young Living's YouTube channel, and they're talking about the business opportunity. And he's making a face that is very engaging. And this picture of like him with like money flying out of a car is hilarious. And it says this could be you in a matter of months. I feel like this is pretty compelling. So I dropped this into the email and then I clicked insert link. You can also drag the sides where you see the arrow here to make this bigger when it sends. So you don't want it to be super small. You want them to like click play, because when we see a play button, don't we want to click it? Right? When you see a button, you want to press it. We were programmed that way when we were children. We're still programmed that way. So people want to click play, even if they know that you can't play a video inside of an email. And while you can, there are some services that do brief ones with GetOiling. That's not something you're able to do. And by and large, it's just not a thing that generally works. And it's not necessarily effective either. And I have a little explainer for that here in a second. So anyway, back to this. Once we've uploaded our screenshot here, we have dragged it. We've clicked that link, right? Clicked insert link. Then we're going to paste in that YouTube link in this case. Click insert. And now when you send this with whatever message you want to include with it, they can simply click that image and it will take them over to, in this case, the YouTube video where they'll learn about the Young Living business opportunity with this really engaging picture. So this is a pretty effective thing that you can do if you really want to be promoting video via email. I will say this, if you're going to do this, really recommend generally that this is that it goes to a link that's your own, right? So your own YouTube channel, your own website, especially if this is a lead. We really want to keep people in the loop of your business and not necessarily lead them down someone else's rabbit hole. And there's a bajillion rabbit holes on the internet, and generally content creators on YouTube have them. So we want them in yours, don't we? Okay, so let's talk about best practices for video. In most cases, it is ideal for the videos that you share to be embedded on your website. The reason for this is over time, your website will be favored by the search rank gods, which is SEO, the algorithms that determine how you get found when people Google things, the more time people spend on your website. Right? So we want people to stick around, click around, dig into the stuff that you have, especially if these are leads. But it's the longer people stay on your site after they click a link from somewhere, the better off you are long-term. So if there are videos, even if there's someone else's that you want to share and utilize, best thing for you to do is to embed it on your own website inside of a page, for instance, or a blog post. And just to reiterate, videos cannot be embedded into emails or texts. You have to send links instead, or send a link to a page on your site where the video is embedded. Of course, you could always hyperlink an image like I just showed you. Okay. And so the content that we have coming up next, this is going to be really popular for everybody here. Sway presentations. All right. So for those of you who don't know what sways are, these are interactive, shareable presentations that are created and hosted on the Microsoft platform. Okay. So think about like PowerPoints and stuff like that, except you can send somebody to it and they can scroll straight through it, and it animates, and it's really cool, and you can modify them and make them say whatever you want to, that kind of thing. And for those of you who don't know, one of our content partners you can find on our page, if you go over to, I believe it's the FAQ page, on our GetOiling.com website, you can find our partners there. And maybe if we can pop that partner link into the chat. Grow Workspace has so many of these, and they're really great. And you can actually get the link to edit them and make them your own. So Sway presentations are for product information, business information, and newsletter content, basically. I can't think of another reason why you might want to use them. So where we use our sways is as follows. Just like video, in email and text, we cannot embed a sway file. Cannot embed a sway file. We can put a link to a sway file. You could have an image that they can click that links to the sway presentation in its own URL if you wanted to do that. But if you wanted to, in campaigns or saved replies, you could absolutely put a link to a sway if you have that handy. All right. You can also embed your sways in blog posts, which is pretty cool. And you can embed them on pages, also really cool. Grow Workspace does have some done for you funnels that have those sways embedded. And then in online classes in your vaults. Now, again, if you go to getoiling.com/move your groups, there is an entire course where I teach you how to create a member area for your customers and brand partners for education, where you can go and get Grow Workspace's sways, or maybe the ones you already have access to, and then embed them into your classes. Pretty cool. All right, so let's talk about embedding our sways. And guys, for those of you who don't know how to embed a video, this is going to be the same. We're going to follow the same steps here. Okay, so we're going to go over here inside our editor. Note, this is not going to show up for you if you are in a message editor, so your emails or texts. This will show up in blog, video, pages, classes. Okay, so you're going to find this insert video, and it may be in the main menu depending on how wide your screens are. But if you can't see it, then look for this little plus sign with the 3 dots to open it up and find it over here where you can click insert video. Okay, now this is going to pop up 2 options for you. In this case, if we want to embed a sway on a page, we're going to click embed code. And this is what it looks like if you go to share your sway and then you click get embed code. That's what you're going to paste right here under embedded code. Okay. Now, if you have a video and you want to embed a video somewhere, this is going to be similar. You're going to look for that video icon, but you're going to click that link. And then you're just going to paste in the URL to the link, just like you saw us do in the example where we linked that image earlier. Pretty simple, right? All right, cool. So now let's talk about sway best practices. In most cases, it's going to be ideal for that sway, again, to be embedded on your own website. Now, if you're going in and you're editing the sways from Grow Workspace, and maybe you have a link to your website, a link to get in touch with you, a link to a funnel or something like that in the sway presentation itself, then you can consider maybe just sharing the URL to that sway. But again, for those of you who have ever encountered difficulty in sharing sways when you're on social, right? Because there was a time, I remember a couple years back, everybody was struggling with actually sharing sways just in the DMs on Facebook. They were getting blocked. So if you have it embedded on a page on your website, you're good to go, right? And it also, again, just like with video and all of the other things, we want to keep people on your website. Keep them clicking, keep them looking around. Okay, oops. And then importantly, again, sways cannot be embedded into emails or texts. So we're going to either send a link to the sway or send a link to a page on your site where the video is embedded. Okay. All right, now for PDFs and audio files, we're actually going to go over and show you, because we have a fun update to share. How many of you guys have ever thought about or wondered how you might embed an MP3, an audio file, into your site? If you wanted to share maybe an audio from a call, or maybe you wanted to share an audio somebody could listen to on their commute that educates them about an oily product, or maybe a guided meditation, right? We're going to show you how you can embed a playable MP3 onto your site. And then of course, how you can use PDFs and downloadable files so that people can click them and go find them, how you can upload them and so on your site. Yes, like Sarah's audio files, 100%. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, and those can go into, again, basically anywhere. Like I mentioned with sways and video, you can't, I don't think, and Greg, correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't think that you can embed audio files in an email, but you can absolutely link to where that file lives. So Greg, I don't know if you have anything queued up. I can log into Jane real quick and demo this though, if you don't.
I do have something up if, I can take it away if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. I need to
co-host here.
I do, don't I? All right. Okay.
There we go. All right. So I'm in this should start sharing. You're seeing the blog post writer, is that right? So this, I just picked kind of an editor at random. This works inside the page editor. This works inside the landing page editor. Writing a blog, creating an event, anywhere that you see this, and when I refer to the editor, I mean this little tool here. So let's say to link up or upload a PDF, for example, I think because we're talking about PDFs and audio files here. Under this little more rich menu, there's a couple different options. You can upload a file or you can insert and manage files. And the difference is if you have a new file you want to add, click upload file, you can drop it here. It'll pop it into your library. And also insert a link. So for example, if I grab a file and plop it in here, this is an audio file, so I can do a 2-in-1 thing. You'll see it puts this link here, and that's probably not very interesting unless you want people to be able to download it. If it's an audio that you want people to download, you can certainly link to it, and then I think from there that they can download it. But what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to delete this thing, and now I'm going to go into insert and manage files. This is how it would work actually with a PDF. If you had a PDF, it'll insert the link there. And actually, let me undo that here. If you don't like how it looks, it's got some ugly file name like this. You can click on the link, edit it, and then change the name. Listen now. You can change the link to whatever you want. So it's kind of a nice, pretty link. You can also even put this on a button. This works for audio files or PDFs or any sort of file. You can upload maybe, if you have a Microsoft Word document or an Excel sheet or maybe some PowerPoint or something, you can do that as well. You can actually even put that on a button if you wanted to. So like if I pop in a button, I can just copy the link from one to the other. So I can grab this, highlight it all, copy. I'm using the copy on my keyboard, but you can right click and copy. And then down here, I can come in here and change the URL and paste in my link. And now I have a button, which is kind of neat. So there now we have a button that has the audio file on it. So what I'm going to show you here, this is a fun new thing, a new little feature. When under your insert and manage files area, which you may have seen if you've worked with your files, any file that you've uploaded that you haven't previously deleted will show up here. So you can see there's all sorts of things. We've got PDFs, mostly PDFs, and I think there's a couple images here too. But so like here's the two, well, I uploaded the same audio file twice. But you can see as you're hovering here, there's a trash can if you want to delete it, obviously, if you want to get rid of it. But the new thing is now if you have an MP3 or a WAV file, there's this little music note that shows up over there. Now, if I click that, what it does is it inserts the audio player into your document or to whatever you're working on. This would work on a blog post. It would work on an event. Again, this won't, anything embedded kind of like this isn't going to work on an email or a text. But anything that's appearing on a website of yours would there. And so from here, you can play with the formatting and alignment and all that. But basically, delete it or you can move it around. I believe you can drag it if you want it, if it shows up in the wrong spot. But yeah, now it's a player. You have an embedded player. People will see this. It looks a little bit different depending on your device. I think it might look different on your phone than it does on my computer here. But yeah, you can play it. And this is like a half a second audio file, so it doesn't really do much. But it's just, for demo purposes. But yeah, so if you have those MP3s, I think some people are mentioning some audio files from Snare Harnish and all that. Those can absolutely go on here. You can upload them this way. They'll show up in your My Files area, and you can create this nice little audio player. This was kind of hard to do before. You could previously link to it, which would then take them to another page. This is really good. It just makes it nice and short. So easy button. It's the easy button.
Excellent. That is so exciting. That was a thing that just came out of the blue yesterday. Heather says she didn't think she could love GetOiling any more than she already did. Well, we're so happy to hear that. So there's a lot of really good questions. Can you please guys make sure so that we don't miss what you're asking, that you put that in the Q&A. I wanted to confirm real quick. I have a Jamie signed up for a website review, and I see a Jamie on the call. If that is you and you signed up for a website review, please raise your hand. And I do want to make sure that we get to you today. So yes, that is you. Perfect. We're going to get there in just a second. We're going to talk about some of these questions that folks have here, and then we are going to review your site. And thank you for being here and for signing up for that today. Okay, so let's go to the top. Shelly, is there a limit to the number of saved replies that we can have in our portal? I don't think so, right? We don't have any limitations on those in our plans, do we?
No, there are no limitations on saved replies.
Excellent. You also asked Shelly about space for videos. So you can link as many or embed as many videos as you would ever possibly want to on our platform. We don't actually host the videos. So you do have to make sure if it's your own video that it's hosted somewhere. If it's something that is external, like I was talking about earlier, something that's fit for lead consumption, YouTube is a decent place for that to live. If it is something that you want greater control over, if it's something that should be private and live inside of a vault, for instance, we recommend Vimeo or Wistia. And then also just generally speaking, it's good to have content on YouTube to get leads, but if you're wanting to use a video for presentation purposes, especially if the word Young Living is in the title, I would recommend that you maybe get that onto Vimeo or Wistia as well, because those video recommendations that come up at the end of videos with Young Living in the title it's kind of, you don't really know what you're going to get or what they're going to see, right? So no limit on videos, just be mindful of where it's hosted and where you want to put it. Jean, what if you have a Mac? I do, and everything that I talk about is from a Mac. And when it's something that I think might not necessarily work the same way, do everything we can to make sure that other folks here can show you, but nothing today that we talked about or shared will differ at all between Macs or PCs. Allison says, how do you decide whether or not to put a sway on your website or in your vault? Allison, I would say it really depends on what's in the sway, what the information is, what the call to action looks like. Generally speaking, like if you're just talking about the sways that are produced by Grow Workspace, I think that those are excellent for internal education of your existing customers and for your leads with whom you have sort of a contextualized relationship. So somebody is going to be much more interested in hearing about you and your stories around overcoming hormonal challenges or something, for instance, using, Clary Sage. Let's just to throw that out there, because we're not using the Young Living name. We're talking about, Clary Sage helped me, blah, blah, blah. And so they're going to be more interested in your story than this very kind of promotional presentation of these different Young Living products. So I would share those in more of a one-on-one basis. Have it on a page on your site, yes, but I wouldn't necessarily have it be something that you're very openly pointing to on your site, because it's only really going to do the most good for you if it's inside the context of your sharing with an individual, right? It's not really written to be something that people can just see and be like, oh, now I want to buy something and I've never talked to Allison, right? All right, so definitely embed it, but you can use it for both purposes. I know Grow Workspace does create them for both purposes. Sways are Microsoft products, yes, Jean, but the product that you get comes in the form of a URL, which can be linked to, as well as an embeddable code similar to a video, so that you can put that in different places on your site. So, YouTube videos are Google products technically, but you can put those onto your site and so on. Okay, Suzanne says, Greg, I couldn't find those Zoom recordings. I think this one is for you. Okay, Jean, if you would like clarification, we are more than happy to help you with that here on this call. So let us know if there's something that you'd like to see us walk through, maybe give an example. We can absolutely show you so that that's a little clearer. Definitely. Okay, Tina, I forget what it's called, so I can't find it in help. Okay, but can you explain the way we track which of our links are being clicked in our documents? When I saw it on help before, it showed multiple examples, but I wasn't clear if we had to name our pages exactly like the help shows, and is there a limit to a number we can track? So if we're talking about links clicked in an email, right now our system only registers whether a link is clicked. So this is, and this actually, it's not a bad thing, because ideally speaking, you really don't want to have a bajillion links in an email, right? If you want somebody to take action on something that you're sending, you want to provide as few options as possible. So, so there's that. So if you know the link that's in the email, then you're going to know that it was clicked when you actually look at those things. And in terms of kind of tracking like what pages people are on your site, there are on your dashboard, you can actually look and see sort of activity on those individual pages. Greg, is there anything else you would add to that just in terms of tracking?
I mean, if you're talking about a link on a web page, or even, well, an email would be easier. If you really want to know like who's clicking on what, you could insert a link that runs an automation that then forwards them somewhere. That's a little bit more of an advanced maneuver, but then you could, could tag them or do something otherwise so you know who clicked on it. But yeah, right now, I mean, like you said, it's like, with one major call to action for email, that would, usually make sense. With a larger newsletter, I can see that being interesting to know which link, and then, maybe that would be an automation in that case.
Okay. All right. So, okay, June, Jean has a meeting set up. Okay. So again, like we are happy to help you get it on a call like this at any point. So feel free, to clarifying questions, but if you've got a meeting set up, then it sounds like you're going to get a good walkthrough. So look forward to that. Okay. All right. So let me bring you out, Jamie. Let's talk about your website. Excited to chat with you. Hi.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. Hi.
How are you?
Good, good. All right, so let's talk. Let me see if I can find this real quick. You already told me. Okay, so you want to talk about web pages within your member area to help your customers have easy access to team resources. And you want a more user-friendly experience. So tell me more about what you've already got in place, and then let's chat about how we can make it better.
Okay, so this week I realized or figured out how to change my menu bar across the top of my web page so that you can see, instead of just the 3 tabs, like the 3 lines, you can see the heading. And I put a spot for the essential connection, which is the name of my group. And so they could click on that. And then I put a drop-down bar that has our community, and I forget what the other things are. So I figured that out to make it a little bit easier. But one of the problems that I had was when I first started setting up my vault area, I sent out an email inviting people to click, and it was an automation that it would add them to the vault. And it was also at the same time, it was a lead grab to get their email. So they entered their email and then they submitted it, and that automation ran and then sent them another email with the link to the vault, and then they had to create an account, and nobody created the account. And I only did it with a handful of people, and I asked them, I said, what happened? How come you didn't take the next step? And they were like, well, I just gave you my information. So I got confused, and then they just shut down.
Okay. So if I'm hearing this correctly, you put an automation inside your member area for them to get access to a vault?
I created an email and sent out the email. I don't remember exactly what I did, but they had to give, it was a lead grab, like to gain more access to find more information. And then they submitted their name and, whatever the 3 lines, the email, the phone number, and their name. And then
the landing page, right?
Yeah, and it automatically brought them to the page for the member vault area. And then it was create an account. So they're like, but I just gave my information. I don't understand.
Got you. Okay. So a couple of ways to make this a little more seamless is on your landing pages, and I'm not sure which one you're using, but it doesn't really matter. This will work the same no matter what. First, you want to make sure that we are, sending them, let's just pretend it is, let's use this one from Simple Grace. So let's just pretend that it's this one. They're going to opt in, of course, here. But in the settings, we want to make sure that we are adding them to the vault that we want to add them to so that they don't have to re-register. And then we want to send them to a next page that's, directing them to a website custom page that's going to tell them what they need to do next, right? So let's just say, for instance, you wanted to use like an opt-in for your customers, right? You want to get your customers to engage in your member resources because you've got that created. In that case, you can actually create an automation. If you already have their email address, then you can create an automation that all they have to do is click a link and it tags them. Maybe it sends them a campaign, it adds them to a vault, and it redirects them to a page that you want them to go to.
I think I started to do that. If you go into settings in my saved replies.
Okay.
So that's one example. I invite them to
this one?
Yeah. The brand partner page.
Okay.
And I have multiple links.
All right. So there's our vault, brand partner vault. So there's two different vaults. Okay.
So maybe this is just too much information in one email.
Yes. Yeah. So, so what I would do is I would tell them, like, here's kind of an overview of what's going to happen next, and then take them to the next place. Let's get them to do one thing. Okay. And think about, you really want to isolate the more complicated steps as often as possible. So in this case, you want to just send an email that says, all right, here's our step 1. You're going to get steps 2 through 4 after you follow these steps. Here's what you do. Click this, go to the next page, create a login, and now you're going to be in, and then click start here once you get inside, something like that, right? And then just make sure that in this case, what you would be doing is that would be like an add to vault email. So the way that you would send this is you would have in your campaigns, right here, what you're going to do, and this is the easiest path, is search for vault. I could type today, search for vault, and then look for the built-in welcome campaign and copy that. And then you're going to basically edit this, brand it to yourself, whatever, but it's got the simple instructions. It's got the links already there. So use this as a template, and then just make sure that you have whatever the new title will be. So we'll call this the member vault email campaign. Just make sure that you have that attached to your vault down here, the campaign. And then what you do is on your landing page and your settings, you don't need to send a campaign. You just have the landing page add them to a vault, and the vault will send the campaign. And that'll just give them that first step. And then you tell them the next steps are inside. And then you break it down from there.
I kind of did that, and then people got 3 emails in a row. So I'm not exactly sure what I did wrong. I just kind of deleted the whole thing and started over.
Yeah, yeah. So just only use this the campaign on the vault, and then the setting that you would use in your landing page. If I go back over here to landing page, let's just pretend and create a new one. So this is going to be the one that adds your brand partners to the vault, for instance. Under settings, we're going to, I would always, again, I would redirect to a URL that is a confirmation page. And in this case, I would even keep it super simple. Like step 1, go check your email. That's going to give you, your login access. And then you're going to find steps 2 through 4 once you log in, right? And then your campaign right here, search for no campaign. right? Tag them with the name of the vault, tag them with your newsletter if you know these people you're going to be sending a newsletter out to, or whatever else you want to tag them with. And then of course you want to make sure that you add them to the vault. And this way, the only email they'll receive is the one that's attached to the vault.
Can you just do that one more time?
Yes, of course.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's totally fine. So this is going to be a brand partner opt-in, right? So this is going to be brand partner. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and put, because our vaults don't tag unless you purchase, in some cases, brand partner.
Yeah, I found that it's really good to tag no matter what you're doing, because I had the system, I don't know, like hiccup on me, or I hit a button and it reset all of my contact types to default settings. So I lost my prospects, I lost, so I just started tagging everybody to specify where they're from, because I have people from different, places. And
yeah, it's always a good idea to tag no matter what. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is too, especially if you're uploading from Young Living, you never know when exactly their designations are going to change. Think about right now, if we're talking about a brand partner tag, a brand partner tag is something that, as of the time we're filming this right now, is applied to a ton of people that are not building the business, right? So you having it tagged this way is going to be more helpful for you and how you want to strategically communicate. So anyway, what we're going to put here is, hey team, welcome, excited to work with you. Enter your information on this page to register to get access to blah, 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 right? And in the settings, we're going to select no campaign, because we only want the vault campaign to send to them. We're going to tag them with whatever we want to tag. We're going to ignore this, because the best thing to do is to create a page on your site that gives specific instructions and expectations. Make sure you've got my email added to your address book. Look for an email from me in the next 5 to 10 minutes. If you don't see it, contact me. Use that hashtag contact for the contact field. And then also, again, because this is for your brand partners, you can say, do this, do this, do this, or you can say, all you need to do next is go to your email, and then I'm going to give you all the other instructions from there. So just set those expectations on a custom page, have this redirect to that custom page. That's how you do that right there. And then add to vaults. And in this case, we're going to go to the brand partner vault, hit done, save, share it. And just make sure that on your vault, you have attached to it that welcome to vault campaign. And to modify that, you're just going to make a copy of it, of the existing one. So going back over here to campaigns, all you have to do is search for vault, because we have it pre-made and it already tells them where to get the Apple or the Android app. Go to vault, copy this one. This would be brand partner vault. Hit OK. Then you can actually update this one with whatever language you want to, right? Add your pretty graphics, whatever. Once that's done, then go over to the actual vault itself. And for its campaign, you're going to connect that brand partner vault one, right? So like that one right there. And if you do it that way, then the people who opt in are only going to get that one email, and they're going to get redirected to that one page. And it's going to, both of them are going to say, go to your email, do your login, like create your login. Go to your email, create your login. That's the biggest hurdle, is to actually get them to create the login. And then everything else you should lay out in the vault and say, okay, here are the next steps. And
that's for if I already have their contact information.
No, actually, no, what I just shared with you is that's for anybody. So you could use this for a prospect as well. Okay. So, hey, if you want your free stuff, click here, fill this out. And then on the next page, it's going to say, okay, check your email, and your email is going to give you an exclusive link and directions on how to set up your account in our private member area. Go do that now.
Perfect. Okay.
Right?
Yes, it's all about how you communicate.
Yes, absolutely. Setting expectations, using screenshots is really helpful. So, if you actually walk yourself through it and take screenshots of what they'll see, including that in the emails or on the confirmation page, that'll be really helpful as well.
Okay. And then I have a question for you. If you go to view my site, it'll bring you right to my homepage.
Okay.
just opinion. I was messing around and got super excited about being able to put drop down bars. And so I put a whole bunch of stuff up there. But just to get, these are all, most of them are lead grabs. So what would you say is like the best practice in having lead grabs on a page? This is, I have not worked on my copy yet, like the thing that's about me that's going to make them want to come. I'm just, you know, right now using this as a tool for my team. So this is, I do refer prospects when I do in-person talks through at the hospital and at other offices and things like that. They can go here, and if they find a topic that they're interested in, then these are all from Grow Workspace. I figured I have them, so I just throw them up. But I wanted to get a professional opinion, so I figured while I had you guys here.
Yeah, got you. So I would, I think it all looks good, and I think it's navigable, and I don't think that it's wrong. But if we were to tweak and optimize a little bit, I would minimize the options up here a little bit, where there could be learn as a menu item. And then because you have so many different options, natural living, essential oils, stress management, you could go like create a page that leads them in those different directions. Perhaps you could also maybe offer that on a page like this. Do you want to learn more about natural living, essential oil info, stress management? So, so that way it's not quite as crowded up here. Link to a page that has all of that stuff on it. But I would encourage you to allow narrower and deeper sort of rabbit holes, if you will, options on your website, as opposed to putting everything out on the front. Because really, ideally, a homepage is something that we want to use to narrow somebody into a single action. And on a homepage, sometimes there's a little bit more than just that single action. We do want to provide a couple of sub actions for people who aren't ready for the main one. So let's just say, for instance, your main one is this simple start to natural living. If we really want to focus in on that, then we want to repeat this, right? We want to tell them somewhere here about why it's so important that they need to get started with natural living, because it's sort of a theme. We want to convince them to take that step because we want to grab that lead. And then, of course, if they scroll past it, the mention of it several times, and they don't take advantage of it, then of course, by all means, say also, here's this and this and that, right? And so maybe take, something like this over to a natural living page where they can then click and get the beginner's guide, learn a little bit more about what is the beginner's guide? Why would I be interested in that? Why would I be interested in Digestion 101? And actually have those as sort of like having, an educational resources page where they can get a little blurb. And I mean, I know these are Grow Workspace things. You can actually grab Grow Workspace's own copy and use that as the blurb, and even their images, and then just take it over to that great funnel that they've created for you already.
Kind of like making a teaser.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're so much more likely to actually do something with the information if they understand what it'll do for them. Because as it stands right now, like if they just really feel like they want Digestion 101 and if you told them you need Digestion 101, then they'll know to go there. But if they just came here and maybe they met you somewhere, that this isn't as compelling as it could be if you maybe had a menu item that said learn, and it took you over to a page where you can check out my free classes, my free resources, and then they got there and they see that they could learn about natural living, and here's a few sentences about it, learn about digestion, here's a few sentences, and so on, stress management and on.
So I've created a web page within my vault that has the recordings from my weekly education. And I've just started I've been a member of Grow Workspace for years and haven't really utilized any of their content to my advantage. So I decided to just take all the classes, make a presentation slideshow, and do a half-hour tops recording of the content, and just started cataloging it on a web page. And then I have the video in Vimeo. And then I take all of the slides and put them on a page so that if they don't want to watch the video, they can just scroll through and read it. But then the video is also there. If they don't want to read, they can listen or watch, because they could use headphones. And then I put them, one of the trainings that you did with another woman who had all the Grow Workspace classes in there. And I took screenshots of how you showed us somebody else's webpage, how they categorized into subcategories. And so I'm going to start doing that as I use them for the events. And every week we do one. So by the end of the year, we'll have 52 classes. And then I'm going to categorize them the way that you showed, because it was brilliant. And, you know, I don't need to put too much thought work into it. And then have that in my member space. But I'm wondering, just from talking to you, if creating a web page with like maybe the top 3 or 5 introductory classes where prospects could go to and have access to the full class. And then say, if you want to learn more content like this about, you know, whatever, invite them to the vault.
Yes.
And
yeah.
entice them to become members so they have access to everything they need to use essential oils for everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would look at this as sort of like a webinar replay funnel, just in concept, where you're basically going to have, maybe you'll have a quick little clip, and then it'll say, if you want to watch the whole thing, you know, here, you know, fill this out. And then maybe you do have one video or a couple videos that you do use for this purpose, where people can watch the whole thing. And then on that page, it can say, when you join our free community, you get access to this and hundreds of others like it. If you're interested in being a part of this for XYZ purpose, click here. And then they can fill out maybe like a strategy call form with you to like actually, you know, say, well, what are your wellness goals, or, you know, just whatever your sort of oily angle is. And then you actually have that lead that can, you know, they like what you've done, right? They're already interested in what you have to say. But you can now use what they know to be a very valuable thing as sort of a way to sweeten the pot to get them to take a look at Young Living and get started and actually become a member.
Okay.
And
right,
we
and
do
this
have,
is recorded, right?
It is. Yes. Yeah. Just go to, you know, like minute 50 of the video and rewatch this. But we do have several, and these do include like step-by-step checklists. We do have several videos that talk about turning recorded classes into funnels. We actually do have one of those in our, it's a series of 2, like how to host classes online and events online, and then how to turn those into replay assets for your business. So that may be something worth checking out on our YouTube channel as well, so that you can see kind of how that's constructed.
And is that in the GetOiling members area?
No, that's actually, it's on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
So if you go to youtube.com/GetOiling, then go over to playlists, and it's going to be under blogging and events. And it was a while back. Where's blogging and events? There we go. Oops, I don't want to do that. So here we go. Turn your online Young Living class into a sharing tool. Oh, it's this one right here. And that's where we actually show you how to set this up as a sort of a webinar style or replay style funnel.
Would you be able to take a look at what I've done so far?
Sure.
It's in my member vault on one of the pages. I can, so
yeah,
the member area.
Uh-huh. Okay.
If you scroll down to, I think it's actually, you don't have to scroll down. It's the member resources page.
Okay. Oh, well, it's not letting me open. Actually, here, I need to do it that way. Maybe not. Okay. Okay, so you said it's on the member resources page.
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
The start here?
Weekly chat replays right there,
Oh.
weekly chat replays.
Weekly chat replays, okay. Okay, great.
And so if you click on one of those, it'll be the presentation, the video's embedded in there.
Got you.
All the notes from the class.
Okay, got you. All right, so this is for your members, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you go ahead and create a class for this purpose, so that it's going to be easier for them to actually scroll through and see the things that they want to see, like what you were talking about, where things were sort of broken down into categories. Even if you just have a few, I would start creating a class for this, because classes allow you the opportunity to really easily embed videos. You know, so like, for instance, this is an online class. I know this is a really great vault you got from Simple Grace.
Yes.
So, you know, you can actually go in and just pop a video link in right here, right? Which you've already done. So I would actually, for your recordings, the replays, if they are more than 3 or 4 or 5 videos in total, I would absolutely put those into a class, just because that's going to become a really long page to try to scroll through. And plus, as you continue to grow with the information that you uncover yourself, that you purchase, that you want to include, you want to create a more rich experience. So if somebody is going to watch a video, for instance, that's about the oils on a budget, you want to be able to have discussion underneath that where people are talking about their favorite budget uses of different oils, for instance, right? So I would actually recommend for your members long-term to be able to actually put this into a class as opposed to a page. And then what you would do, like you mentioned, and I think this is a brilliant idea, take a clip from it that you think is particularly compelling, embed that somewhere public, blog post, put it on YouTube, put it on social, and then say, if you want to get the whole replay, click here, and only do this again for just a couple. Right. And then actually, you know, use that to grab the lead. And then of course, you know, if they love what they see and they want to learn more about joining the community, that they just need to fill out a form and chat with you.
Okay, I was thinking, so I like what you're saying because of the discussion. And I have 2 questions for you. I was thinking to take these videos and as they start to get bigger, making like a header with the photos with each category, like, you know, oils and for your family and, you know, natural living, like cleaning, and then making that a jump down button to bring them to that section with the hyperlinks to each of the individual pages.
You certainly could. Yeah. And it is something that's doable. I just know that with the nature of Young Living products, generally speaking, there's so much that continues to be added and created over time that this could become a really large thing to try to maintain and to get people to engage with, but it's up to you.
And then I'm sorry, my second question is, if you make a page too long, does it slow down the performance of the page? Does that make sense? Like the speed of the page, like how fast it scrolls and images upload. If it's too big, does that slow it down?
Greg?
And, you know, you'd have to play with it a little bit. You know, really depends on the content that's on there. If your pictures are gigantic or, you know, they're not smaller, you know, it can affect the load speed. Most internet connections are pretty fast these days. If you have a slower mobile connection, that's probably where you would see it on a phone. But most browsers do try to like show you the top part of the page as quickly as possible, even if it's like loading on the bottom. So it's something you probably have to play around with.
Okay. And I learned a great tip from you guys today about embedding content on the page to keep them on that page. If it's a link to another page on your website, does that count towards the amount of time that they're spending on your website? Does that make sense?
Could you say
like if I make, so I don't know if I'm doing this totally wrong, but I've been creating web pages and making links to that, like it brings you to the next web page on my website.
Yeah.
And then does that count towards the search engine optimization for them being on your site?
100%, yes,
okay.
Because they're clicking. So it's how long they stay on your website. It's not necessarily a specific page. Obviously, they do see how long visitors stay on specific pages, and that does influence the rank of that page. But just them being on your site increases the overall authority of your site for sure.
And does this affect emails, the open rates? Because I've noticed that over 2 years, I'm finally getting really good open rates. They're not clicking because I probably have too much in the email, but they're opening it a lot like quicker. Because it used to be nobody, like 2 people would open the emails. And now I'm getting like 70 email opens in 2 minutes, which is, I get really excited about that.
That's amazing. You've probably become very good at copywriting. Congratulations. I don't actually think that open rates and SEO have any correlation whatsoever. Obviously, there would be a correlation if you're sending people to your website from emails and they're clicking those links. Then, of course, the more links that get people, the more traffic you get to your website, the more that influences SEO. But I don't think it really works the other way around. No, I think you are just getting good at influence and at communication. So congratulations, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, totally. Great questions. Great questions.
I have a lot more work to do. It's like the tip of the iceberg. I don't know how to organize my thoughts about all of this stuff. And I sit down to do it and I'm jumping from one thing to the next thing. And I find myself often wishing I had like a cheat sheet, like for if I want to make an email campaign that's going to invite people to my vault. I learned over time from doing it that I need to create an automation first. Like there are certain things that have to happen first. And then, sometimes I forget to write that down. And then the next time I go to do it, because it's been a while and I'm not fluid in it, I have to refigure it all out again. So I don't know if there's cheat sheets somewhere that.
So that's the funny thing, right? We have loads of them, but they're all very action specific. So I would say just start with the thing that is most valuable to your business right now. So if you've got a team that needs to be educated and supported in less time, focus on that first.
Okay.
If you need more leads, focus on branding yourself and creating content first to get leads and establishing simple systems for sharing. Everybody's path is going to be a little bit different, right? Everybody's business and what season they're in and sharing Young Living is so wildly different. It's kind of hard for us to say for sure, but we're here on these calls to help you, gain some context around that. So feel free, shoot us an email if you've got more questions, or if you've got kind of all right, I'm looking at doing A, B, C, D, E. Even if you send it to our support, if they're like, Ashley should answer this, they'll send it to me, right? So
you guys are awesome. You always get back to me right away and answer all my questions. So I thank you. I've had some
absolutely. We're happy to have you with us. So thank you for coming out today. And I hope that this has helped you.
Yes, very much. Thank you so much.
All right. Talk soon. All right, Gigi, what we're talking about here is sending what I just walked through with her. What you would ultimately be sending is the link to the landing page. That way they can put their name and their email in, and then of course get access to that vault as we walked through. Okay, Susan, I'm not 100% sure about that. Okay, that's everything for the call today. Thank you guys for sticking around. So many amazing questions today, and we will be back as always next week, same time. And yeah, we're always here to help you. If you have more questions, feel free, shoot us a message, join us on our Facebook group, and we look forward to working with you again next week, same time. Y'all have a great week. Take care.
Bye.